destination. It is a journey. Hi, it's been a while. Glad to have you back again. My name is Mope Lola. If you're new here, you're welcome. And if you're returning, good to see you again. How has the year been? 2025 has been a whole lot. But here we are, we're surviving, we're thriving. Don't give up. Keep the same energy to plan for 2026 and stay hopeful. Don't let whatever the year has been extinguish the fire of life, the fire of ambition in your heart. And if you've had an amazing year so far, how lucky, how graced you are. I'm glad you're getting the most from the year and the year is working out for you. The topic on the table on a very hot burner today is contentment. Contentment and money. It was inspired by a recent event I wouldn't want to elaborate on. I promise you, I'm not a primary actor. I'm not involved. I wasn't involved at all in the event. I only saw it and I was, all of this, at the bottom of this mess, is just money. The insatiable desire for money, for status, for fame, for power. That was the underlying cause of everything that broke down in this event. I don't want to reference or give right up to date. What exactly is enough money for us, really? Many of us are agitated. We're trying to invest, work hard, save up, do business to attain a sum or a figure that we think guarantees our security. Contentment, in my own estimation, is the quality that makes life go on without being defined by who we are, what we have, or what we don't have, because our sufficiency, our worth, and our definition is not tied to what we can amass to guarantee security for ourselves, to guarantee safety for ourselves. Listen, security is a very big deal. We all want financial security, we all want food security, we all want physical security. Money can buy you all three. But is your confidence in money? Or is your confidence in what is bigger than money and bigger than you? Lately, I've been studying the book of Matthew. Somehow I found a renewed interest in Matthew because the words of Jesus would just strike me as though I'm reading them for the very first time. And in the 6th chapter, Jesus contrasted God and Mammon. Now, somewhere in the Old Testament, God made a profound statement. To whom will you compare me? To whom will you liken me? Now here is Jesus contrasting God and Mammon and calling both masters and telling man, that we cannot serve two masters. Now, what is Mammon? Is Mammon bigger than God, or is Mammon a form of God? I don't think so. Here's what I think. I think Mammon is that entity which can exalt itself to the place of God in the heart of man. And that's why Jesus would contrast God and Mammon. Very quickly, the parable of the rich fool. What made him a fool, really? It wasn't because his wealth was a sin. No, it's good to have money. Same Bible says money is a defense. But in sense of safety, in sense of security, in sense of sufficiency, was in his possessions. That's who God wants to be to us. And money can quickly substitute that in our heart. So we quickly see that it is not natural for us to attain a place where we say, yeah, I have enough, now I'm content. No. I'll quickly borrow what Apostle Paul said. I have learned to live in poverty. I have learned to live in surplus. I have learned to live in abundance. I have learned to live in lack. I am content in every situation because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not through what I can gather for myself, not through my abilities to make things work. Greed is the forerunner of Mammon, and greed opposes contentment. What is it that prevents us from amassing more than is necessary? Now, having the ability to gather a lot of wealth is different from amassing more than what is necessary. Greed inspires you to amass more than is necessary. Greed opposes contentment. Greed will make you to compromise at places where you shouldn't be, to adopt ideologies that don't belong to you just because you want to belong. Why do you want to belong? Because there's sense of financial reward or some margins that could come to you through the spaces. You break your own spirit, you hurt yourself, and the consequences could be damaging, lasting, and sometimes eternal. Eternal consequences are devastating. I would hope it doesn't come to that for anyone listening to me. Listen, sometimes we talk about greed and we hang it on the billionaire class. Oh, they amassed everything that belongs to all of us. That's why we are all poor and they're greedy. Greed is not classist, neither is it racist. Greed is not a misogynist or a misandrist. Greed is an equal opportunity visitor. If you make room for it in your heart, it dwells in there. Remember, greed is the forerunner of Mammon, and greed opposes contentment. It is greed that would make a poor person gather 3 loaves of bread for themselves, where the instruction says take 1. Listen, you don't even need to have an instruction. You see the audience the food is meant for, and you instinctively tell yourself the portion you should take. You cannot say 20 loaves of bread for 20 people and you take 3 for yourself. It is greed that will make a billionaire still steal from the commonwealth of the people, deprive them of healthcare, deprive them of security, deprive them of education. It is greed that will make politicians partner with terrorists to displace and kill people just to amass the minimal resources in the earth for themselves. You can see that while the consequences are graver on one side than the other, greed doesn't care who you are. We have seen poor people brutally murder people because they want to steal their cars or steal their jewelry. So sometimes the end point is the same. Whether you're rich or you're poor, when you allow greed in your heart, you're the same. You're serving the same master of Mammon, and your sufficiency is in money. I got some feedback when I had this conversation with a friend, and I was asked, how could we truly attain contentment? I'm sure you would have gathered how from this chat thus far. There is no contentment gathering outside acknowledging God as your source. Goodness, do you know how vicious our human nature can be? Hey, it is actually the fear of God. The fear of God is respect for the governing authority of the universe. So when he says, do not steal your neighbor's food, that is the constitution of the governor of the universe. So you don't go steal your neighbor's food. When people a couple of years ago felt the human nature could be good outside of God, such people are quickly finding out that whether the person calls themselves a Christian, an atheist, a hedonist or not, whatever you call yourself, when you are ruled by the human nature goodness, the fruits are shocking. Shocking. There is a big difference between contentment and mediocrity. And that was one concern another friend of mine raised when we had this chat. We will talk about that some other time. How mediocrity is not contentment. Because mediocrity also has grave consequences. Have a wonderful time. We chat soon. Bye.